Hi, I'm Tom with the SPB production channel, and in this tutorial I will show you the basics of working with blocks in Open CAD Studio, which is a free open source DWG editor. So I have this simple geometry of a floor plan view of a chair, and it's composed of 10 individual objects. So these are the lines, the arcs, etc. And I want to work with this chair as a one object, so I will create block from it. And to create a block, I will go to the Insert tab on my ribbon, and here this is the panel for working with blocks. And to create a block, I will use this button. It's the block command to create block. Now it's asking me to select objects. So I will select all of these objects. I have got 10 objects selected. I could select or deselect more, but this is enough for me. So I will confirm my selection by hitting the enter. And now it's asking me, again, I read the command line, enter the block name. So the block name for me will be chair. I will type in chair, hit enter. And now it's asking me to specify the base point. This is the point that will be the only visible of the block when I select it. So it will be the node. So I will click here on the chair. Now the command is completed. And basically the first block reference was created, and it's this one. So if I click this chair, this line here, you can see that the whole chair is selected and it's this block reference. Now what I will do is I will actually delete this block reference, so you can see there's nothing in my drawing, but the block definition is defined in this DWG file, so it's available anytime I need it. And if I want to place a chair block in my drawing, I will actually go to the draw panel and change the active layer to layer equipment. Now in the insert tab, again in the block panel, I will use this tool insert block. And now OCS is asking me for the block name. So I have, and here is the list of the blocks in my file. So I have got only one block in my file, but I have to actually type in the block name correctly. So I will type in chair, hit enter. And now it's asking me for the insert point where to place it. So I will click here, and you can see that the chair was placed here. I could insert another one. So again, I would have to type in chair and click here. So you can see these are all block references. And if I change my active layer to layer A, and I will insert the block again, and I will insert the chair block, enter, and place it here. You can see that the block reference is automatically using the properties of the layer that it is placed on. What I could also do, I could copy blocks. So if I select this block object and I use the copy command, and I could place it here and hit escape, I can create copy like so. I can also copy blocks between files. So I have got this floor plan file, and if I wanted to use the chair here, I would actually go to this file, select this block reference, press Ctrl C to copy the objects to clipboard, then go to this file, and here I will press Ctrl V to paste the block, and I will click here, and you can see that the chair was placed here, and I could work with it inside of this file. And I would probably use the match properties to place it on the same layer as these objects equipment here. So this is how you can copy blocks between files. I will go back to my original file. An important feature of blocks is that I can still access and edit the original geometry, the so-called block definition. And how do I do that? I will go again to the insert panel and I will use this edit block tool. So I will click this button. It's the bedit command. And now OCS is asking me to select the block reference to edit. So I will click any of these chairs. And now when I click it, it opens up the block editor where now I work only with the geometry of the block definition. So if I zoom out, you can see there's only one chair and there would be no other geometry here, and I can edit the geometry, add, delete, etc. So if I would go to the draw panel, change the layer, I will actually first create objects on the 0 layer. And let's say I would create a circle and I would use object snap tracking, snap from here, and let's say create a circle like so. And now if my edits are complete, here is my context panel, so I could discard the changes, but I will actually save the changes. So if I click this green check mark, you can see that the blocks, all of the block references have changed according to how I have changed the block definition. So this is really great system. Now let me show you one peculiarity about how layers behave with regards to blocks. The original geometry of this block was all placed on layer 0, which is special in this case. And you can see that if I move the block from one layer to another, it changed its color or the line type or the line thickness, etc. But if I would actually go and edit this block, I will actually open the block editor. Now, if I would here inside of the block geometry, I would create a geometry that's already on the layer equipment. So let's say I will actually select this circle, and instead of on layer 0, I would create it on layer equipment. Now I will save the block. You can see that these look still the same, but here, if this block is on layer A, the circle is having the color, line type, and line thickness or transparency based on the original layer that it was created on. So this is quite important. And if I would actually create a new layer, and let's say I would make it magenta. Okay. And now I would move this object to the layer magenta. So this one, you can see that again, these objects that are created on layer 0 take into account the properties of the layer, but this one does not. But even though it does not take the color or the line style of that layer, if I would freeze the layer, the block will not be visible because it's on that layer and that layer is frozen. So this is quite important to know, and I recommend you to, if you don't have special purpose for it, I recommend you to create all your block definitions so that all of the objects inside of the block definition are on layer 0. So actually, I do not recommend inside of the block, when I'm editing the block, I would want to have this circle also on layer 0, so the blocks are behaving in a more straightforward way. Okay, so this is how you work with blocks in Open CAD Studio. You now know how to create blocks, how to edit them, how to copy them, and how to work with them in various files. Open CAD Studio is a free open source DWG editor that's available for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. You can get it on the Open CAD Studio product page, which is linked in the description box below. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next one.